as if the Blackwater story had collided with Barry Bonds. A new filing in the civil lawsuit over this summer's Blackwater massacre in Baghdad contains several startling new claims about the shooting and the controversial company itself. Our fourth story tonight, Blackwater being sued by 2 surviving victims and families of 5 of the 17 fatalities, including a doctor shot dead as she cradled her dying son. Both the U.S. military and the FBI reportedly having found no reason for Blackwater shooters to have opened fire. The new filing makes the astonishing claim that at least 1 out of 4 Blackwater gunmen deployed in Baghdad were taking steroids or other drugs that could alter judgment, that Blackwater knew this and failed to stop it. The filing also claims that the Blackwater massacre occurred after the Blackwater guards had already dropped off the State Department official they were protecting, that they disobeyed orders to remain with that official in a secure area, and even that one Blackwater employee tried to stop the shooting, he was ignored. Blackwater declining to address most of the suit's specifics, except to say that drug use violates company policy. Most horrifically, the suit promises to prove, quote, that Blackwater views its willingness to kill innocent people as a strategic advantage, setting Blackwater apart and above other security companies. Let's bring in Michael Ratner, president of the group representing the Iraqis in this lawsuit, the Center for Constitutional Rights. Thank you for your time tonight, Mr. Ratner.
Thank you, and for having me, Keith.
Let's start with some clarity about that claim in the lawsuit. Are you alleging that Blackwater willingly, knowingly has its employees kill innocent people as a cost-benefit way to preserve its reputation for keeping its clients safe?
What we say in the lawsuit is there's a culture essentially of impunity, of allowing excessive use of force, allowing reckless use of force that encourages Blackwater employees to kill innocent people. They do that by not investigating instances where there are people killed, by covering up killings, and by allowing shooters, that's what they call their security people, an interesting term, they call them shooters, so think about that, allowing those people to go into the field drugged up. That's what we say here, that there's this company basically encourages the reckless use of force.
All right, let's turn right to that other headline then. That 25% drugged up figure seems very specific. Does that estimate originate with Blackwater itself, and what's the significance of the drug charges in relation to this suit?
Well, the information we got was that Blackwater knowingly sends shooters into the field either on steroids or other mind-altering drugs. As you know, steroids cause severe aggression in people, and that certainly may be one explanation for the number of killings that goes on with Blackwater. The 25% figure, we believe that in discovery, which we will ultimately get, that we will be able to show that 25% of the Blackwater shooters that go into the field are drugged up in some way or another.
This suit specifically names the founder of this company, Eric Prince, as a defendant. Why going after him personally and not merely in his function as the operative guy of this company?
Well, Eric Prince owns the entire company personally. He owns this whole business. He owns all 20 or 30 fronts for the company. He owns the whole thing. So he's the guy who essentially can change things, is the one who has condoned it essentially. He's the one that should be liable for what Blackwater has done.
Your suit alleges that the co-founder of the company left because he had these problems with Mr. Prince and how Mr. Prince was running Blackwater. What exactly is he telling you?
Well, I really am not at liberty to say more than is in the lawsuit, but that he did have problems with Eric Prince, and he left for that reason, which is what the lawsuit says.
All right. Under the Secretary of State, Dr. Rice, the State Department took statements from the Blackwater shooters at the scene and promised them that the statements would not be used against them. That while they're trying to figure out how that happened and what can be done to undo it, can you use those statements? And what has your experience been regarding the parallel inquiries going on from the State Department, from the FBI, and anything else we may not know about?
Well, first of all, we can use those statements in civil cases if we can get them, which I think we'll be able to. It's not a criminal case. It's a civil case for damages. What's shocking to me is that the State Department, which had hired Blackwater to do this security, then gives them immunity, and essentially it looks like a massive cover-up between the State Department and Blackwater. It makes no sense. In fact, the State Department apparently didn't even have the authority to give immunity to people. So it's a real shocker. The other investigations, of course, the FBI has done an investigation here in which it basically says that there was an unprovoked incident in which innocent civilians were killed. They didn't have any weapons, and they were essentially murdered by Blackwater. There's an FBI investigation. The Iraqi government has done an investigation similarly, which finds the same thing. Of course, the problem here in the end is that these private contractors like Blackwater cannot be held accountable in Iraq by the Iraqis. They were given immunity by the United States. There's difficulties with prosecutions otherwise, and so they basically feel that they have these weapons, whether they're assault weapons, Glocks, whatever they have, and they can use them with impunity. Until you have a system established that they can actually be held accountable, you have a problem. And of course, the whole problem of private contractors, it's medieval to me, Keith, running around the countryside, just medieval.
And the term is mercenaries. Michael Ratner, who is the president of the Center for Constitutional Rights, which is representing the Iraqis in this lawsuit after these terrible events in Baghdad. Great, thanks for your time tonight, sir.
Thank you, Keith.